When Eastern culture meets Western adventure in the high mountains of the Himalayas, expect the unexpected.
And I refuse to believe that this is not possible.
That is what we came for, right there. Ski the Himalayas, episode 4. This is the making of, not for air stories that are born out of the film Ski the Himalayas 2. I'm Ben Clark. Joining me is John Miller. John, we are still in Johnson, stuck trying to figure out where on earth we're going to go, what we're going to do. How are the viewers going to make any sense of this?
Well, a plan is starting to come out of the fog.
As a plan B, knowing this area and having been here so many times, dude, Thorn Peak is a...
We're here to climb and ski. They're surrounded by mountains. We're going to make something work.
That's right. So you're going to find out on this episode what? 200 feet. But it's completely doable. You're seeing the north face there of Thorung Peak that we think, well, gosh, I climbed this in 2007 with another friend of mine. We're over there with a couple people who'd never been to the Himalayas before. John, who's been there on his 3rd time now. And this seems to be a suitable objective to go climb and ski. It's accessible. We can do it with a minimum of people. And that's our plan. Here, we're able to, without porters, we're able to drive a lot of our stuff to Mukhtanath in a vehicle. We go to Mukhtanath tomorrow, you know, day 1 Mukhtanath, and then spend a night, maybe a night and a day hiking and acclimatizing there. And then the next day we can leapfrog over that 4-day period to get eventually to a base camp that we set up underneath Thorung Peak.
I came here to climb.
Yeah.
And everything aside, I think it looks the most.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just going to throw something together quick,
we know what we're getting.
Well, do something you've done before. Don't take more risks than you need to.
Not exactly.
Rush to make a decision today. Yeah. Like we spent a lot of effort to plan Sarabong. I know I have.
Yes.
And I would definitely like to give it a healthy thought. We also have you wouldn't even have the permit or any of the stuff from the government.
Minor detail.
Yeah, we're going to have to hang there anyway and just deal with more crap anyway.
Permits
for this stuff, and suddenly we have to get an Annapurna trekking permit. We have to get, you know, yeah. So there's some.
There's still a festival on,
yeah.
So that might be.
Yeah, so there's still plenty of time for delay. But I mean, as a plan B, knowing this area and having been here so many times, dude. And I'm racked. I'm like at this point like crushed because I wanted to do this other trip, and now here we are. But we make the most of the day. You know, we kind of spend the afternoon starting to reorganize, just trying to take our minds off the disappointment of being like, man, it cost a lot of time, effort, and investment to come over here.
So now we're just kind of getting the opportunity to go back through and kind of start reorganizing it, make a little bit more sense, because right now it makes no sense where things are. And it's kind of, we're, you know, with a new plan, we're, you know, reassessing kind of what we've got, what we need, where it's going, how it's going. Our ski bags got soaking wet, which is kind of seems to be the par for the course. Yeah, going well. I mean, it's always fun to play with toys. We have lots of toys.
And we're going to have an adventure, and we're just going to be ready for it, whatever that adventure is going to be.
Yeah, we have skis, we have legs, and we have a cook staff. We can go find a mountain and climb it. It's just getting all our stuff together. And
so I got my harness and rack, helmet, it's my big boots and all that, crampons, ice axe and stuff in here. And then figuring out how to sort clothing based on what I think we're going to be doing, but I'm sure it's going to change.
We're going to be hauling a little bit more of our own gear, so we're just trying to make loads light as possible and eliminate what we can.
We're still in limbo land, and sorting equipment, for me at least, is a little zen.
Yep.
When in doubt, go up.
But when you're from Tennessee, look at the cow and go on.
Of course,
I don't know what all this scene is about.
That's because the cow didn't move for me.
No. So, while we're waiting for all these permits and stuff, we just decided to go for a nice walk into this little town called Marpha, and just try and get into the culture and the landscape of Nepal. I mean, what's the point? You can only sit around and be disappointed for so long before you're wasting time.
Absolutely. We've been cooped up in airplanes and hotels in Kathmandu, and it just feels good to hike and walk and see the scenery.
We got some 40 million year old ocean fossils called ammonites that are here. These are these big blocks of limestone that have been swept down from the high Himalaya and are now forming this huge section of river deposited material in the Kali Gandaki River. This is by some measures the deepest river valley in the world. That peak's like 24,000 feet and we're at 9, so crazy.
15,000 feet. And Hari is getting his PhD in geology right now, in environmental studies, so.
He was geeking out and loving this because he'd read about this and now he's seeing it.
Yeah, it's amazing your first time over there, no matter where you come from or what your background is.
Welcome to Marpha,
the apple capital of Nepal.
home of some amazing apple cider.
Down in these villages, it's kind of old Nepal. It's not super developed down here. Yeah.
Dinner.
I'm pretty sure this is where sausage comes from. In the street.
And the streets here are really, really nice. Everything's well taken care of.
I've got some fresh and natural apple juice from Marpha, the apple capital of Nepal. Of course, you know it's authentic when it's in a two-board beer bottle. So it should be an interesting experiment here. So actually quite good. Quite good.
And this is an older part of the Annapurna circuit, trekking circuit. And so getting here, we're seeing a lot more of the prayer wheels, a lot more of the culture, a lot more of the Buddhist influence. So you spin these prayer wheels, and the idea is that as you spin them, you're sending good thoughts up into the sky. Same kind of as a prayer flag, as it's all these different spins are supposed to eventually bring good tidings to everybody and everything. So you just keep spinning them. The more you spin it, the better things are for everybody. Pretty nice. Where we were originally headed in Mustang is more Tibetan, and so a much more heavier Buddhist influence versus other places we've been in the previous years, which have been a lot more Hindu. So we're seeing just a lot more of that culture, and the white brick buildings, the architecture, things like that are looking a lot more Tibetan than Nepali, and it's just really cool to see this stuff. That's right. So if you're ever in Jomsom, head down the road to Marpha. It's an hour away, and a lot of people fly out at the end of the Annapurna circuit and miss this town. And I've been through it enough times to know that the apple brandy there will put you on your ass. Now we're back in Jomsom and doing what it is you do in Nepal, which is, if you're not standing around, sleep and eat. Marpha was pretty good. It's pretty windy. That's one of the things about the Kali Gandaki is like hanging out here. You never really know what the day is going to turn into.
What happened in the last couple hours?
You were looking at it. I did the same thing you did, man.
Crashed out. Is that what you did? I moved. I went from here to my bed right back to here.
To be here another day hanging out
and nothing to do.
With really nothing to do, pretty much all you can do is just sleep, which I think is pretty easy for all of us to pull off. There's nothing going on other than high wind and like some boiling water's getting boiled a bunch.
But time does go on and things do begin to happen.
Yep. Believe it or not, sounds of Nepal. But yeah, so these guys are now getting ready and they're packing up some bags. We're going to go get in the Jeeps and head up to this town called Muktanong. We still don't have our permits yet. We're waiting for stuff to show up. We are in a tea house here in Jomsom, and we've been hanging out down here for a couple days figuring out what's going to go on. And now we actually have a plan. That's right. So stay tuned for episode 5 where you're going to find out the plan. It only gets crazier.